Welcome to the Fear and Greed Business News Afternoon Report for Thursday, the 17th of August, 2023. I'm Michael Thompson. Every afternoon, we've got the 5 stories that happened today that you need to know about, so let's jump straight into it. Story number 1, the S&P ASX 200 closed down 0.7% to 7,146 points today, dragged down by those ongoing concerns about the strength of the Chinese economy. Of course, we are deep into reporting season on the local bourse, so there was plenty of movement today. Origin Energy jumped 1.8% after reporting an 83.5% jump in core net profit for the past financial year. The nation's biggest poultry producer, Ingham's Group, reported net profit of $60.4 million and a rise in the final dividend. Its share price surged 14.8% today, making it the day's top performer. Consumers are shifting towards cheaper cuts of meat like chicken to offset cost of living pressures. The next best was IPH, up 10.8% after reporting a statutory net profit increase of 23%. Healthcare continued to slump, as did gold and industrials. The worst performer today was minor core lithium, which fell nearly 25% after a trading halt for a capital raising and share purchase plan. Lake Resources fell 8.5%, Telstra fell 2.8%, more on that one in a moment, and Property Group Domain Holdings dropped 7.8%. Its 2023 group profit missed expectations. The markets expected profit to be much higher, and investors sold off the stock. I mentioned China before. Well, today the Commonwealth Bank head of international economics warned that the deteriorating Chinese economy could send the Aussie dollar falling below 60 US cents. That would be to lows not seen since before COVID. On to story number 2, which is very closely linked to story number 1. Plenty of investors watch Telstra closely. After all, it is the most widely held stock in the country. The telco has delivered a 13% jump in profit to $2.05 billion, but has decided against selling off part of its infrastructure business. Now, that is one of the most interesting revelations from Chief Executive Vicky Brady today, saying that Telstra is no longer looking at selling its infrastructure arm called Infraco Fixed. Infraco holds all of Telstra's subsea cables and data centres and fibre assets. It's valued at about $15 billion with the income of $1.6 billion over 2023. There's been a lot of commentary about the potential sale of this part of the business, but Brady says there's strong demand for the infrastructure, and the shift to cloud and artificial intelligence adoption was really driving the need for these services even higher, so they want to hang on to it. Story number 3, the Matildas. They might have lost their semi-final, but they will go down in TV ratings history. OzTam figures show that more than 7 million Australians tuned in to watch the game last night. That was the first time that we've seen a figure that high since the current rating system kicked in. Even more incredible, how about this? 11.2 million Australians tuned in at some point during the 90-minute game. Nearly 1 million were watching on Seven's 7 Plus app. Plus, who knows how many were watching in pubs and live sites around the country. Spectacular night. Shame about the result, but wasn't it fantastic to watch? Story number 4, Australia's relationship with India is going through an historic sea change with shared defence, migration, security and trade ties. That's according to India's External Affairs Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese is set to visit India early in September for the G20 Leaders Summit. Now, Dr. Jaishankar spoke to reporters from The Australian in Delhi and said he was puzzled that the relationship between Australia and India had been undervalued for so long. He said he was bullish on the relationship and could see no limits to how it could develop. He also said India was confident in stepping up the scale of their relationship with the US. And story number 5, major consulting firm Deloitte has been dropped from its advisory role to the Australian Submarine Agency. That's the agency in charge of the big AUKUS nuclear sub program. Only weeks into working with the agency, the Australian is reporting that the Big Four firm has had a $1.8 million contract ended via a convenience clause. This clause doesn't require anyone to prove a party's at fault to end the contract. The decision was made apparently after the media made inquiries about a senior Deloitte advisor's links to foreign military interests. But to be very clear, the agency is saying the decision to scrap the deal isn't due to, quote, any actual, potential or perceived conflict of interest. But clearly, this is a sign of increased scrutiny, including from the media, over the use of consulting firms within the government. That's it for the afternoon report for Thursday, the 17th of August 2023. Don't forget to hit follow on the podcast and find Fear and Greed on LinkedIn, Instagram, X and Facebook. Join us tomorrow morning for the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson. Enjoy your evening.